This is the major and relative natural minor, harmonic minor, melodic minor, ascending scales worksheet that you need to download from the Music 131 Canvas site. And you'll be doing this for homework, and it's nice if you have this with me right now. So if you need to, pause this, download it, and print it, and then follow along. So here we have what we call the major scale, C, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. Just wrote them in, spelled the scale. These are the ones that you have memorized from last week's work. Now, if we start on A and go A to A, and we learned this in just the previous video, then you get a minor scale that is what we call relative to the C major scale. They share the same number of sharps and flats, in this case, none. How do you find, there's another qualifier to this. It's the minor scale. It's the relative minor scale. This form of the scale we call natural minor because it has no alterations to it. It's just a pure minor scale. And you can see that there are some altered scales. Don't worry about those right now. We'll get back to that in a minute. The first thing we want to do is just get good at spelling the major scale right here and getting the relative minor, or the minor scale that starts on a different note but has the same number and kind of sharps and flats. So we're just going to do these two lines first. So in this case, it's asking me to spell a D major scale. It gave me the first note D, and hopefully you can just do this with me. D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, D. If you don't know that yet, well, that's okay. Maybe you learned it last week for the first time and you just need a subtle reminding. That's what this will do. But, if you're really, really shaky on these things, go back and study those again, because you got to know those down solid so we're not thinking hard about it. Now, how do we do the relative minor, the pure form of it called the natural minor? What minor scale goes with this? Well, we just go backwards. We went C, B, A, right? D, C sharp, B. And so if we just copy these notes down, right, keep the same number of sharps and flats, D, and we're just going to keep going down, so C sharp and B, we find that the minor scale that has the same kind of sharps and flats and number as D major, which is two sharps, F sharp and C sharp, is B. B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp, G, A, B. These are the relative major and minor. And the reason this is called natural minor here again is because there's no alterations to that scale. We will be making some later, okay? Let's try another one, right? You can see how this works. G flat, well, that's a complex scale. You make a G major scale and you flat everything. Now remember that G major has F sharp right here and nothing else. So when we flat everything, everything's going to be flat except for there. And if you're going like, what's he talking about? Then you haven't internalized the shifting that we've done, right? You make or you haven't memorized G major, right? All of these are flat, but this would be F sharp and flat, so there's nothing there like that. G flat major is 7 flats. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Sorry, 6 flats, not 7, and 1 nothing. Okay? How do we get the relative minor to that? Well, you go down from note 1 to note 6. 7, this is note 1, 7, 6. This scale is the E flat minor scale. So we can start here as well, E flat, right? And the notes are the same. It's got all flats except for the F note, right? G flat, and that means this is F, because this will be the same right here. It's the same scale ostensibly, but we're starting on note number 6 of the major scale, which I guess is the trick here. If you know how to do the major scale, then you just go from your keynote or note number 1 and go down to note number 6 and start there. Keep the scale the same. All right, so that's how we do it if you're given a major scale. Start and spell the scale, and then go down to note number 6, 8, 7, 6, and then start on that note, and that's your scale right there. Now what happens if you're given, let's spell a different scale. Let's start with the B flat minor. Well, how does that work? Let me show you how that would work here. I'm going to go back here to the beginning. If I was just asked to spell A minor scale, right, like A minor, And I'm not sure how to do that. What you can do is you could spell an A minor triad, and that would be A, C, E, root, third, and fifth. And the relative major is the third of that triad, right? Like if I was asked to spell B minor scale, I would go, well, I go B, D sharp, F sharp. That's my B minor scale. And D sharp, right there, B, oh, I'm sorry, B, D. I'm spelling major right now. I keep making mistakes today. It's okay, B, D, F sharp, right? D is the third, and that's your relative major, so I know it's the same as the B scale, or as the D scale, right there, right? Let's try this here then. If I need to spell a B flat natural minor scale, and also the major scale that goes with it, well, I'm going to spell myself a B flat minor triad, okay? Which B, D, F sharp, flat everything, right? There's my third right there. So that means that my triad would be B flat, D flat, and F, and this is the major scale that goes with it right there. They're the same. They start on different notes. So now I'll spell my D flat major scale, and it's, well, you take your D major scale, which had F sharp and C sharp, and you flat everything. So everything's flat except for F and C sharp. It becomes F and C, right? So D flat, E flat, F, G flat, A flat, B flat, C, and D flat again is my major scale. And then I just fill in the rest of these notes using this, or I could just think, well, this is also all flat except for F and C. So B flat, C, D flat, E flat, F, G flat, A flat, B flat. That's how we do this. Now, how much homework am I going to do with you? Well, quite a bit of it, because I want you to know it. So here we go. B major scale. Well, you need to know that that's 5 sharps, right? And that's everything sharp except for B and E. And that's last week's homework. So let's spell it out. B, C sharp, D sharp, E, right? Got those 2 notes. F sharp, G sharp, A sharp, B, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sharps, not the B and the E. How do I get my natural minor? I go back 2 steps in the scale, B, A sharp, G sharp, right? G sharp, everything sharp except for B and E. So G sharp, A sharp, B, C sharp, D sharp, E, F sharp, G sharp, right? And I'll do this one with you, and then you can do the rest on your own. We're going to go back and talk about the other notes, these harmonic and melodic minors. So again, if I have a C natural minor scale, I can think, well, let's spell myself a C minor triad, C, E flat, and G, and it will be the same as E flat major, the third of the chord. So E flat is right there. And that's 3 flats, B flat, E flat, A flat, so F, G, A flat, B flat, C, D, E flat. And if you're going like, no, 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 you go too fast. I'm going, no, 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 you go too slow. You can keep practicing these and get fast enough that you don't have to think too hard about them. And don't worry, it comes with time and practice. But C, now we make it the same, but starting on C, C, D, E, F, G, A flat, B flat, and C. Okay? All right. You can do, I don't know how many more pages, 2, maybe 3, 4. There's 15 scales. So you can do the rest of them like that. And I will put up an answer key at the end of the week. I want to talk about these other scales now. So step 1 is to get the major and the minor scale, what we call natural or unmodified or pure minor scale. Now notice that we have 2 other versions of the natural minor scale or the minor scale, harmonic minor and the melodic minor ascending. They are for purposes of making melodies smooth or making harmonies work in these things. And for this weekend, I want you to ignore these 2 right here. I'll explain them briefly, but then don't do the homework, okay? Like don't try and do these on your own because Monday we'll go over it. Harmonic minor in order to make your chord that takes you back to your home, we call it the dominant chord or the 5 chord. In this case, the one's built on E, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? If we did E, G, B, our triad, E, G, B on 5, it sounds fine, but it doesn't pull really hard back to A. And so for purposes of that, they often will just raise that 7th note there. So E, G sharp, B, and the G sharp pulls to the A by a half step, just like the B pulls to the C by a half step in the major. So for building a specific harmony, we have a modification of the scale where we raise the 7th note of the scale up again, okay? That creates a gap here between F and G sharp that's 3 half steps, which was awkward. And so for melodies going up, they said, well, let's just raise that back up again. Okay, so this was to make melodies smooth when the harmonies were modified to give us the sound that we wanted. We're going to get into this in great detail next time, but I just wanted you to understand why that's there. Okay, and this will be very telling in an analysis that we're going to do together as well for homework. So for right now, though, for your homework, do these 2 rows and leave these ones, and we'll work on them on Monday.